They warned people never to go near Dagger Hollow, a thick, uncharted stretch of forest in northern Vermont, where even birds seemed too afraid to sing. Locals swore it was cursed, a place where shadows moved too quickly and sounds traveled wrong. But 24-year-old Leah Carter didn't believe in curses. She was a photographer chasing obscure locations for her upcoming horror-themed exhibition. Dagger Hollow, with its twisted trees and abandoned mining town hidden within, seemed like the perfect centerpiece. She entered the woods alone on a crisp October morning, her backpack heavy with camera gear, her phone already out of signal range. The deeper she walked into the hollow, the more unnatural everything became. The air grew dense, almost syrupy. The scent of pine faded and was replaced by a stale, metallic odor, like rusted blood. Trees bent unnaturally, leaning as if eavesdropping on her every breath. Her camera malfunctioned after the first hour. Photos either came out completely black or distorted with eerie light streaks and figures she couldn't see with her own eyes. Still, she pressed on, her curiosity overwhelming her rising unease. At noon, she reached what remained of the mining town. The houses were half buried in moss and mud, windows shattered, and doors hanging off hinges. Crows circled overhead, though they never landed. Leah took out her spare camera and began capturing what she could. That's when she noticed a figure watching her from an upper window of the old church. It was a woman, or at least that's what Leah thought. She was dressed in a black shroud, motionless and silent. Thinking it might be another explorer or local squatter, Leah called out but received no answer. When she climbed the steps into the church, it was completely empty, dust covering the floors with no sign of footprints. She felt her stomach turn. A whisper slipped past her ear. "Go back." She froze. No one was there. The wind didn't blow, but the pews creaked. Her breath quickened. She turned back and left, but the hollow had changed. The path she had taken had vanished. Trees had shifted. The sky looked darker than it should be for early afternoon. Panic slowly crept in. She tried retracing her steps using GPS coordinates she had saved earlier, but the device simply glitched. Her compass spun in slow, deliberate circles. That night, she built a small fire near the edge of the mining town ruins. She could hear things moving beyond the firelight. Slow, dragging footsteps, hushed conversations in an unknown language, and a sound like bones tapping together. At one point, she swore she saw a line of figures walking through the trees, all draped in black, eyes glowing faintly like dying embers. She didn't sleep. The next morning, Leah was missing time. Her watch said 7 a.m., but the sun was high. Her mouth was dry, her throat sore, and her body ached like she'd been in a fight. On her neck were deep, bluish handprints. She didn't remember anything after throwing more wood on the fire. On the third day, she stopped using the cameras. Every photo now showed her asleep, even though she hadn't taken them, always from different angles as though someone else was behind the lens. The figures in the photos were getting closer. One was right next to her, eyes blank, mouth open as if mid-scream. That night, she found a diary in the town's general store, half-rotted and written by a man named Elias Moore. It dated back to 1876. The entries were increasingly erratic. They chant beneath the church now. We're not allowed to look inside anymore. We tried to leave. The woods turned on us. Mrs. Langford ran. She came back without her skin. The woman in black walks backwards through the mine every night. We stopped counting the days. The sun never comes. The final entry was smeared in dried blood. It lives beneath us. We fed it, but it's still hungry. It wears our faces now. By the fifth day, Leah was no longer trying to escape. She simply wandered, half aware, calling out to names that weren't hers. Sometimes she spoke in voices not her own. Her reflection in puddles didn't move the way she did. She felt watched constantly. On the seventh day, rescuers found her wandering outside the forest's edge, barefoot and bleeding, speaking in an unknown dialect. She screamed when touched and had to be sedated. No trace of the town or her camp was ever found, despite days of searching. Leah never spoke again, but months later, her final camera was found hanging from a tree branch deep in Dagger Hollow. The photos had corrupted, except for one. It showed Leah in the church kneeling before a tall, eyeless figure, its hand resting gently on her head. Its skin was cracked like burnt wood, and its mouth was a gaping pit of teeth. Underneath the photo, written in ash, "She sees now."